What's happening? I just wanted to do another my top 5, and I was kind of asked, like, what are your favorite synths? Well, this might be surprising, or not really surprising, but these are going to be in a particular order, number 1 through 5, so the most important one, and then down. So, one thing that I can't live without is ExesVirus GI. Definitely the sound of the last 10 years in terms of dance music, apart from Massive, which is not in this list, surprisingly. Excellent features, very robust, four-part multi-timbral, filter distortion, different kinds of distortion, plenty of new things being introduced. The operating system is in version 5 now. New filter bank, analog boost, the characteristic of the I/O of synths, true virtual analog. Everything's processed in the box, which is here. That thing right there, it's beeping. Really fantastic piece of German engineering. Can't live without it. I've said that twice. And if you know, I've used it on many tracks. I've had it for a year. Totally recommended. Highly. Get the Snow if you're not sure. I hope to pick another one up. Probably the new range when that comes out, and I'll have 2, which will be badass. I'll be unstoppable. Okay, that's number 1. Okay, number 2 is SilentOne. This is a virtual analog that does not have so much of an analog characteristic, apart from the wave shapes. Good filter section. This is the synth that I learned on, and it's been used quite a bit. Good on the CPU. 2 kind of envelopes, 2 LFOs. You can only map 2 things at a time, but the modulation matrix, you can kind of play around with it. It's 2 parts, and you mix them. It has an excellent kind of hypersaw detune type thing. Subtractive, kind of no FM capabilities as far as I know. Good onboard effects, and kind of a Swiss Army knife. It has some drawbacks. It's a little dated. There has been an update since 2008. A major update since 2008. They support Windows 8 now, which is exciting. But yeah, that's SilentOne. It's used quite a bit. A lot of sound banks. Yeah, it's just generally decent, and yeah, it's the soup of the day Swiss Army knife of VST plugins. Number 3 is the sampler. I don't have anything in it, but this is what I use quite a bit. I do a lot of sampling, a lot of stabs, and this is I can't not mention this. It's good for basically everything, and it's the sampler. What more do you need to know? And I guess light on the CPU. You can do some neat tricks with it. Yeah, basically it. Predator. When I want something different, I come here. There's plenty of wave shapes that you can go to. It's a little quiet. You kind of have to boost the volume per se. It sounds kind of cold until you play around with it. One of the things is the filter distortion, edgy, and you can crank it up. This is used by a lot of people. What's his name? Sander Van Dorn. He uses this, and I started using it, and I'm a big fan of this. And Sander Van Dorn. and it's, it's modeled arguably after Moog synths, the mini Moog and the like, but with a kind of a digital kind of flair. I say flair sometimes. Yeah, it sounds a little cold, but you have to kind of play around with it. But it's a good starting point if you're looking for something different and kind of smooth, and it's good for kind of droney things. The effects section always kind of bugged me, but it's okay, I guess. Not too bad. Can't complain. Overall, good synth. I believe that was 4. And the last one, when I want something extra different, I use strobe. And strobe, it's true virtual analog. Each module is kind of, it's like a it's kind of weird how they explain it. I can't even explain it, but how they have it is it's kind of like a virtual signal path between the modules. So it's a modular synth in its feel and all that fun stuff. It has an analog knob, which is good. Adds a bit of drift, oscillator drift, which is desirable sometimes in your sound. Sometimes, a lot of the synths can't really do that, and this kind of adds it. Pulse width and a whole lot of sub-oscillator options, and you can see what you're doing down there. You can even add noise, analog noise, and you can get some true-ish, passable analog sounds. And this is probably the most authentic virtual analog pack you can get, and yeah, it's very neat. You can turn the analog knob up for a bit of drift. And to me, it sounds good, and it's used. It has a use. So basically, those 5 synths is basically all I would ever need in any production type thing. And yeah, that's my top 5 synth VST synths. And I got a text. Cool.